Nah, shit, I wasn't able. I didn't do the thing I was gonna do. Whatever. Had to mow the lawn. Plus, woke up very late because went to sleep at 5 a.m.
Michael, it's 11:21. What kind of realization is shit I forgot to mow the lawn at 11:21 at night?
No, I mowed the lawn. The shit I didn't do it was me not finishing Mashal and Yamada.
Oh, fair. And Skip and Loafer?
Well, yeah, that too. But see, that one got voted off long enough that I couldn't make the same point I was going to about Yamada and Mashal.
Okay.
That I can't make because I didn't watch.
Fair. I have a feeling I know what that point was.
What?
But we don't know. Who's to say?
Well, I finished Mashal alright.
I finished Mashal.
Did you read the entire manga?
In 3 days.
I see.
It's not very long. It's like 150 right now or something.
It's also done.
I was off by 12, which isn't bad.
It's also done. Hey guys, it's the finale of the Saber Silly spring season of the Anime Afraid podcast. I said words. Rejoice. We normally do what we've been up to, but we tend to save that for the end of the episode. For finales, just in case we don't feel like doing it. The only thing we make exceptions for is if anybody went back and finished any additional things from the season, which, as John said, he has read the rest of Mashal. I imagine that means you didn't finish watching Mashal?
Oh, I did.
Okay.
I went, I want to see more, so I read the whole thing.
Fair enough. I will probably be doing something similar. Though I might wait till the second season comes out, since that is October?
Nope, too late.
Is it October or winter? I think it's October.
I mean, that's much like other friend who watched the first 2 episodes, maybe just first episode of Oshinoko, and then binged the entire manga in a day.
Which, you know what? Good response.
Yeah,
that's the correct opinion.
Yeah. But I might just wait for Mashal to keep. I didn't intend to go back. I do intend to finish Mashal. Probably skip and Loafer, Yamada. And, depending on if Dylan starts watching it, I also might go back to Heavenly Delusion. We'll see about that. I did not do any of that before this podcast. So I have nothing to talk about besides the things we are going to talk about. Michael, Mason, did you guys finish anything else besides the stuff?
I finished Mashal.
Okay.
I don't think I finished anything else. No, I did not.
Okay. So we will. Go ahead.
I did games more than anime.
No,
He did.
We'll talk
he did
about
do
that.
Game.
We'll talk about that at the end of the
games.
episode. Because who knows? You might see more of that in the time we have off. You never know.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen on this channel when we have a drought of 3 months. It's so crazy to think about. It's gonna be 3 months worth of content not on this channel in terms of what we do.
Bad.
So good.
It's gonna feel weird.
Use a butt.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. But we'll probably do some things. I have an idea of something I want to do. That I'll pitch to you all, and maybe we'll bring in some extra people for it too. We'll see. But that's a thing I have to actually like put in effort and work to do. So we'll see about that. We know how I do about things I plan to do and then never do.
What?
Stares at my large Google Doc of ideas.
So Sean, how many of the shows did you get through of that one thing?
I tried. You know, I honestly want to blame it on the fact that the stuff I had to watch to start was not great.
Yeah, you certainly did start with like one of the worst romance anime of all time with fucking Love Tyrant.
You know what's crazy about that is I did get like 4 or 5 episodes through that and had an opinion of, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. I got all I want from this. Moving on, and I just didn't do the rest of it.
That was the issue. Is the Love Tyrant is that bad?
I wouldn't go that way. It's not horrible. It is bad. But that's besides the point. So, welcome to the finale. How this is gonna work is we're gonna talk about the shows. We're not necessarily going to recap the last couple episodes. Hell's Paradise had 2, Insomniacs had 2. Whoops.
Yeah, somehow none of us noticed that it's at 13.
Raise your hand if you knew Insomniacs had 13 before watching its episodes.
Yes, because I opened the tab and saw 13 before I started
Well,
watching
that's
it.
not
True.
fair, because I also had that realization.
When I went to watch it,
I didn't
did see
assume
13,
it had
I went,
12.
oh.
Does that count? I kind of went into it going, I'm ready to finish this show.
I
Oh,
did think
cool.
it had 12, which we'll talk about. Glad it didn't. It really doesn't need 13. But we'll talk about it. Yeah, Hell's Paradise is 13, and then Dead Mount Death Play is 12. So we'll talk about the two episodes, and the one episode. But mainly overall thoughts and things we want to highlight from them. In the order of Hell's Paradise, Insomniacs, Dead Mount Death Play. And then, when we're done with that, I will give out stats. While I'm giving out stats, we will also conduct our voting. How the voting works is we assign each show 1, 2, or 3. The show we put as our number 1 show gets 3 points. The show we put as our number 2 show gets, surprise, 2 points. The show we put as a number 3 show gets 1 point. And then we add it all up and see what happens. Yes, that's right. It is possible for a tie to occur. It has only happened once in the history of this podcast. That was Jujutsu Kaisen and Akudama Drive, based. More often than not, what winds up happening is the silly thing where the show that should not win out of a set of 3 does win. Because none of us can make up our minds, so we wind up burying the other 2 shows, and the arguably worst show of it winds up rising to the top, or the arguably best show. You know, cases like Sherlock and Checks Nose, Sasaki to Miyano.
Sasaki
Miyano was based though.
It was like I said, arguably the best show.
It was a weird one.
Season.
Yeah, that season was.
We certainly all went into that finale going, God, none of these deserve top 1, but I guess I gotta put something there.
Nope.
That's funny because John went into that season going, yeah, My Dress Up Darling deserves top 1. The rest of us, however, gay, romance gay. So yes, we're gonna get into this.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about it.
Licorice is also based.
I do. I feel like I can give this out.
Big A action game.
I can probably give a couple of stats out now. Before we start, just to keep some things interested. Hey guys, we did a new segment this season called Show of the Week. Or which episode was your favorite or the best? I called it many different things throughout the season. I have those results. How many shows do you think of our 12 got a Show of the Week?
5.
6.
I think it was 6.
I think it might have been 6.
8.
8.
Only
Holy
4
fuck.
shows did not make it onto a Show of
We
the
didn't
Week.
do that week 1.
Oh yeah, there were some shows
We did do it
got
week
put on
1.
there that
We
absolutely
retroactively
I
did it week 1.
I mean, I know Dangerous in My Heart didn't. I know.
I wasn't there 2 weeks, so I didn't see what they were for those 2 weeks.
I mean,
So
I
let's
sure fucking hope that fucking My Home Hero never got it.
It did not. My Home Hero never
It did
got it.
not.
Marginal Service never got it.
Yep.
I don't think I would have been the only one to give it. Oh no, we got Clueless got like 4. I completely forgot Clueless like sweet
had-
1 week.
Clueless had the
one
week where
episode that was
everybody gave
fucking
it to it.
insane.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
The other one. Let me see if I can figure out what it is based off. So, Dangerous in My Heart,
We definitely put Yamada.
Dangerous in My Heart.
Marginal Service,
Marginal Service.
My Home Hero. Blue Orchestra.
Oh, Blue Orchestra.
I forgot
Yeah,
that was
see,
on
that's
this
all we-
Yeah, no,
podcast.
I
the
did
issue is that
too.
I removed like everything as it got murdered from my Crunchy list.
Yep.
And also that one isn't on Crunchyroll, so I just forgot it existed.
So,
Also, it's bad.
I'll do the rundown. I'll work my way up. Heavenly Delusion, 1. It had 1. Mashal, 2. My Clueless First Friend and Yamada both had 4. Dead Mount Death Play and Skip and Loafer both had 5. And Hell's Paradise had 6. So Insomniacs had the most at 9. Obviously, we're not doing it for this final episode, so
'Cause that's a spoiler.
it's a spoiler. But let's just say those numbers might look a little different, and at first, yes, this is technically a win in Insomniacs book, but who knows what we would all say coming into this until the end of the episode when we talk about it. As of where we stand right now, Insomniacs has a win in its corner for statistics on the podcast.
Let's go.
I think that's good. I think we'll save the rest for later. The other things I will be giving us are first, second, and third place finishes. The lowest ranking position that all of our shows got and who put it there. And then the out of how many top 3 finishes that they could have got did each show get. So we'll run through those later. You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. Spoilers and harsh language abound. We are about to talk about 3 shows. Mason. No power ranking this week, obviously, because also spoilers. We wouldn't. Yes. That doesn't make sense to do. Mason, Hell's Paradise. We watched 2 episodes of it.
Paradise. Yeah. So, just to kind of quick run through everything that happens in the last 2 episodes. Our non-Gabimaru group finds another Tenzin. They fight it. They kill it the first time, and then it transforms into its like beast flower form. The most based man alive shows up and kills it. And also Senta dies. And then following that,
he gets
Gabimaru
specifically.
Oh my god, it's not.
It is.
I'm not gonna even entertain.
What did you say?
You got Tokyo Gold.
It's not every time that a character is killed on screen is it Tokyo Ghoul.
They put all his backstory in one show and then killed him in one episode.
I mean, I don't know anything about this Tokyo Ghouling me, but that is exactly what happened.
So,
yes.
They gave you the fucking death flag that is giving you a backstory for a character in this fucking show.
Yeah, the side aside, and I'll let Mason finish. It's just basically like in Tokyo Ghoul, specifically like the second season, or no, the third season. What they did like in 5 episodes in a row was like, here's character, here's backstory, boom, dead. Here's character, here's backstory, boom, dead.
It happened literally twice. It happened twice.
Over the course of 5 episodes.
Yeah, there's only like 11 episodes.
There were 13.
And it was like
it happened in 2.
Okay, Hell's Paradise.
Anyways. Crazy. It's almost like that's something that happens in seinen manga. That happens a lot. Anyways.
Senta dies.
It's actually a pretty neat scene of like seeing Yuzuriha dealing with it, and how she's like helping him deal with dying. And then we cut to Gabimaru's group, where he passes out because he used too much tau, and then he wakes up and he's missing his memory. He knows who he is, and that's about it. He doesn't remember how he got on the island or what he's there for. And that's about it.
Also, they're sending new people.
Yeah, they're sending more Yamada Simon to the island. And we've also talked about the fact that Gabimaru's village might be coming here at some point, but that was earlier on in the season. So it's gonna be a bounce house of fun, with just a bunch of people on this island. Overall, for Hell's Paradise, I really enjoyed it. I think it was a really solid action show that had some interesting moments to it. I liked the little, like, maybe not we got of, is Gabimaru's wife real? Like, does she exist? I think that's
has he been gaslit into even thinking he has a wife?
I really like this as the setup of like a central conflict for the second half of this, for the next season of this show. This is a wonderful way to cliffhang.
This was
about
so
stuff.
fucking good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Like episode 12 was fine. It was like a really well done fight scene. We had some really cool stuff. I think the Senta stuff was done fine, but it's my same issue as with a blonde-haired boy for episode like 8, where it was the biggest death flag of all fucking time that they were giving a character a backstory.
Yeah.
Because side character getting backstory means they're going. and then episode 12 ends with a fake out death for him, or him
See,
being
Yeah.
in critical condition and then being alive for another about 10 minutes into the next episode while he's also in critical condition about to die.
I don't have too much issue with the Senta stuff because, in my opinion, the death flag isn't even. Let me talk to you about how I feel about Okonichi and you know, my life, as much as it is the okay, we're gonna take him on together. You should not do this. We are in each other's way. Get the fuck out. He's dying that fight. It's also one of those things of, in every fight we've had with oh my god, with a Tenzin.
Tenzin? Yeah.
Like, critically wounded or almost dead or dead. The people who walked away are the Bandit Brothers and Gabimaru, who, in my opinion, of groups, you definitely can't lose either of those yet.
Yeah.
Whereas,
And Gabimaru also only gets away
Because
because
of
Mei
Mei.
was there.
yes,
Yeah.
and it's like, so and you know, we obviously lost our blonde hair Yasayamon,
Tenzo.
yeah, in that fight. And so when you put another, you should never fight a Tenzin in a group of 3. That's what I'm learning right now, is that is
Apparently.
a death
Yeah.
flag. If you walk into a fight with 3 people, one of them is dying.
Yeah.
But like, out of that group, Senta is the most disposable, and it's very obvious. We're at the point in the story where his role has kind of stopped. We don't really need any of like the insight or weaving of the mythology or folklore, because they're really spelling the shit out now.
And they also, like, part of it too is like, we don't need to stick to the executioner and convict thing anymore,
Yeah.
because we've thrown that out the window, because we go, we're not living if we do that.
We've also at a point where it doesn't matter because the elixir probably doesn't actually exist, or
Yeah.
it doesn't exist in quite the form they think it is.
Mhm.
So it's a very interesting like premise for season 2 as well, where it's like, why are we even still here? For some of them,
No,
like
what
honestly,
they do
because,
is they get the shit, they bring it back, then leave. Shogun drinks it, fucking dies. They got their pardon. I don't admit this point.
I just don't tell them.
The Asaemon can also guarantee that was the elixir. That's what they got.
Yeah.
They couldn't
Here-
test it because testing it meant they broke the contract.
Here's the thing. I don't know if they test the elixir after they leave. I think they test the elixir in front of them. On
Okay,
someone
but
else.
again, the
But, so here-
Asaemon or the executioners are confirmed that it's the correct thing.
Also,
Yeah.
as much as these executioners are bound to the shogunate, everybody who's gonna walk out of this island fucking alive does not give a fuck if the shogunate goes, no, we're not gonna pardon the criminal who brings it back, because they're gonna go, you don't fucking understand what we saw and did. You're gonna make these people go free, or we're gonna have a problem.
Yes.
Like, it's just like talking about that is, in my opinion, something we don't have to do yet. Really interesting thing that happens in the fight with Tenzin is when they die, they have like the finally, this is what death feels like, and my brain goes, why is this a win for you? This is
Yeah.
interesting.
Like, he
He's
says,
happy.
thank you.
Yeah, it's like, you shouldn't get to do that.
I mean, it might also be the whole thing in like every immortality story where
Yeah,
eventually you become bored of life. He's like, it's like thousands of years they've been here, and it's just. Also, I love how his name is just a whole bunch of fucking hoopla.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
their name.
Also, the Tau stuff's really interesting because it's like, one, we're gonna get a matchup chart. I love that, baby. I can't wait to learn exactly what the fuck that means.
Right?
What differences? What makes the differences? Small bandit girl can heal people via hugging.
Well, it's like donating of Tau, but yes.
Yeah,
She's
Yeah,
John.
interesting.
Yeah, she literally
She's
has
John.
the Jean semblance room.
That's all I could think of when I saw that was, oh, she's just John.
And then we find that using Tau has different repercussions. Which I love the shot when they do it, where they're like, it can take a very physical, stressful toll on the body. Everybody who just fought this Tenzin. It can, wipe your memory. Hi, Gabimaru. It can do other bad things. Shot of Chobei's neck. And his curse mark level 2.
Yep.
I would say it's weird that we don't get more of them, but I think that's fine. Like, I didn't really feel like I needed anything from them in these last 2 episodes. Because they feel like they're so far away from all the other action.
Yeah.
They're completely removed from the other 2 groups.
We also definitely know that, like, his markings are definitely probably has something to do with him actually consuming some of the,
I think so.
The dudes.
Mm.
Well, I mean, that's even when he first fought him, the one, not Tenzin,
Doshi.
Just goes, you ate them? Oh, this isn't good. Basically, is kind of what he implied. Because he's like, we don't know how this is gonna work out. Which it seems like it's gonna like slowly change his personality or something. And okay, hot read for season 2, his brother ends up having to kill him. Or he ends up killing his brother. One of the two.
Chobei absolutely feels like he's going to turn into an antagonist for some amount of time, and that has to be dealt with in some capacity.
It also feels like the new Asayamon, who's like in charge.
Like the final antagonist, honestly.
Oh, the guy they like.
The guy who
very clearly an antagonist.
The guy who they're like, hey, you get to pick the next set of people you're taking with you on the expedition to check in on it. Jesus Christ, if I've never looked at a character and faster gone, oh, okay, you're like the antagonistic rival to our main character. Cool. Gabimori's gonna fucking hate you, or Sagiri gonna fucking hate you. It is crazy.
Hot read.
Mm-hmm.
Hot read. Sagiri's older brother.
Maybe, we don't know.
Maybe.
True.
Crazy thing. They push further in after defeating this Tenzin. That's wild. I get that they don't know that Gabimaru isn't further in, like, so they have no reason to turn around here, but it's like...
I feel like you retreat and regroup.
Yeah, right? It's... No,
You don't rest in enemy territory.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, they totally should just come and kill you if you're resting in enemy territory. I think it's really dumb if they, like... It's like if in D&D, you're, like, in the middle of doing a dungeon, and you're just like, we can get a full rest here, right? In the middle of the big boss's dungeon.
And you never know.
Kind of thing.
Sometimes you do have the time to do it. Sometimes
you
don't.
have to.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
But, like, at the same time, it's like, they really didn't. They were at the entrance to the dungeon, went in, took a sneak peek, and went, yeah, we can sleep here.
You know what? A really good argument is that group can't necessarily... Well, with Shion, maybe they can. But, like, going back is potentially dangerous because they got there following the trees, with the tree guiding them.
Hoko.
Yeah. Who, is, doing okay. Not too bad.
This fight cost him at least an arm and a leg.
He cost him a little more than that.
He's having a bad time. He just found out his entire religion's a sham.
You know, he's not taking it too bad though.
No, I mean,
could be worse.
Yeah.
Could be good. Could be nice. I will say, without trying to give away too much of my overall thoughts, I do think out of the stuff we watched, these are my favorite 2 episodes. I think this show's 2 episodes were more enjoyable for me than Insomniacs 2 or Dead Mount Death Plays 1. That's kind of where I wound up leaving after watching them. How that impacts my overall thoughts, we'll talk about, but, you know, when we get there.
This definitely does leave me really intrigued for a season 2. 12 was fine. 12 was like a really solid episode. 13 was fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
I think Senta needing to scream to not hit the things you can clearly tell aren't weak points was a little silly. Because the idea that he could very clearly tell those weren't the weak spots. And you could clearly tell that there was a strong thing right fucking under him. You could see the waves.
The important thing, though, is that in that moment, he is about Shion is about to doubt his senses and abilities because he's been given information by Skiri, someone he trusts, about where the weak point is.
Fair. Yeah, it's just like one of those like silly things. He's like, this seems like a bad idea.
I might do it anyway, though. I didn't have too much of a problem with it personally.
I loved the I love that we have the continuous like here are the opposites and you meeting in the middle makes you stronger. With Shion being I'm dying, but I will kill you first. That was really cool. I really liked that of like here's all of the yin and yang.
I'm so excited for him not to walk out of this show alive.
Right.
Yeah, one of my favorite things that they did was when we get the reveal that Gabimaru's memories are absolutely gone. Also, he did with the him being gaslit into his wife existing maybe was really good. The way they did that was fucking great.
Yeah.
But when he's just sitting there, you have May stare at him, and you see half of his head just gone, and with like the top of like the towel in his head is just not there. And she goes, "That's not correct."
I also really like his inner thought of, I don't know what the fuck's going on here, but these people seem like they would be useful to learn what the fuck's going on here. I will go along with it.
Yep.
May immediately goes, "There's how I got here,
right now.
But they know me, and so we're gonna pretend like they don't know that I don't know."
I also do like them calling him a cat when he wakes up and just wah. Immediate danger mode.
Yep.
Last thing I'll say for me, I also enjoy the end conversation with Sagiri and Shion, where he's like, "So, Gabimaru, huh? Is it like..." And she's like, "No, you fucking idiot. He has a wife. Well, maybe. Well, I hope."
He has a wife. Well, now that you brought that up, actually, maybe he doesn't.
But I don't fucking love him. Stop. You jumped to that, idiot. No. Also, you're one to talk.
No, but like we
child.
could. No, but like we could mix yin and yang later in season 2. I'm saying if he doesn't have a wife,
we don't know that though. We don't know that.
Exactly.
Which
is really interesting because like the comparison he has to Sagiri really matches up with this supposed implanted memory. So it's a really confusing like argument of like, is this just his projection of what his life would be like, or why does it match up so well with Sagiri type of thing? Is it destiny?
The cool thing for me is that like he's almost assuredly going to get his memory back upon reuniting with Sagiri or interacting with her at some point.
Or having some kind of breakdown.
Because like he has gotten to the point now where like his brain goes, "Ah, woman, how dare you dishonor?" Where I just can't imagine him, even with a memory wipe, like not having that kind of thing pop back in. Even if he doesn't understand why. What are our thoughts? Do you think his wife is real?
I don't, but
I don't, but I'm hesitant on that. I think she's real, but not like his wife.
I think that the clan did go through with everything that gets brought up, but I do think she's real. I do think they're married, and I do think they actually love each other. I think it's one of those, I was supposed to do a job here. Whoops. In love. Whoops. I'm saying the things that I'm saying. Whoops. Here we are. That's my bet. Michael, any thoughts?
I think I think she was real, but then this leader totally fucking murdered her ass to plant this memory that she still exists just to control him. That's my hot take now I think about it, but I did have one more thought about the show too after Michael goes.
I'm just gonna completely fight past all of the gaslighting. She just does exist.
It is just the most
Gaslight
wholesome
denied.
relationship.
Yeah.
Gaslight gatekeep girl boss.
No bait and switch here.
Go ahead, John.
I mean, them completely erasing her could connect back to the Chekhov's gun and the yin and yang, and I don't want that to be a thing. So I want her to exist more because that removes any possible chance of romance between Sagari and Gabimaru, because that'd be even weirder.
Here's the part that makes me think she's real, and not just like a full implanted memory, is the scar. Like that detail and how specific it comes up. Like, you don't need it, right? Like, if that feels like an actual, like, wound and element of a real person. Then again, you know...
This feels like, you make me remind me of so you guys know about Rick and Morty?
Unfortunately.
I haven't watched a lot of Rick and Morty, but I've seen a few episodes, and there's one, it's the one with Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Yes.
And the whole idea is that there are alien parasites that exist that implant themselves into your memories. And the idea is the way they can figure them out is fake is that there's only good memories of them. There are no bads, because there's no reason to have a bad memory. But that's the trick, is that like the scar isn't the thing you'd put on a perfect wife. Because, again, like an illusion, there's no reason to put an imperfection. You want them to be the perfect being. If you want it to be like the thing.
I do really like the theory of... No. Their village actually doesn't have the elixir to immortality, or did not eventually find it. He just makes them think he has it, cause that one I buy. That one
I buy completely.
That's some shit I believe.
Oh yeah.
Start the brainwashing young.
But the only one addendum I was gonna say about this episode was the point that Michael was making too, with like the silliness of like having him pause and then be like, no, hit the correct spot that you know is the correct spot. And the reason isn't because of that. It's because you watch him make a direct downward strike and go, wait a minute, I shouldn't hit the navel. And you're like, but you weren't going to. This does not go this way, which is where the navels were positioned. You were going straight down.
Well, think about it. He was going to aim at one, and then he went, wait, there's two. Wait, neither of these has the power source he needs.
It's just a bit of a confusing shot to me. But either way, I thought like both episodes are great. Show's good. I'm excited for season 2.
It also did the funny.
When I get a chance, but
it did the funny shonen/seinen manga thing. The action manga thing where while characters are speaking, time freezes. Because he's up there fucking talking for like 30 seconds. It absolutely should just fucking die before he gets to do that slash.
I think he just wanted to do a cool...
It is the manga. Characters talking, therefore time must freeze.
I think he just wanted to do a cool somersault flash. Like, honestly, I think that's what it comes down. He just wanted to do a really cool somersault flash because he is the badass.
It was cool as fuck.
It was fucking based.
It was pretty sick.
Shion is the most based man alive.
He's based as fuck.
Based on what?
He's even hooked on rom-coms.
I was gonna say a thing. Oh yeah, I stand by my point I've made the entire podcast of I need an action RPG game for Hell's Paradise. 100%.
But like, it just be like Tales of Berseria, where Shion's the only character you play as because you don't get to see the game. You just see
not true. He is going to die, and at some point you will have to play another character.
That's not true.
That's when you need to start playing as Gabimaru.
He might
because he's probably broken his shit.
Come on.
Because he can just create fire with his foot.
God,
He's totally not going to lose his mind when he recognizes the same Tao of the guy that killed his buddy. Someone else is going to die in that fight, and then he'll die in a random different fight.
And an entirely drastic tone shift. John, let's talk about Insomniacs.
I don't know what you mean. Speaking of kidnappings,
Insomniacs.
Did we ever
I don't think we were talking about kidnappings, but anyway, kidnappings.
But it is a good point. Tell me about kidnappings, John.
Listen, segues are weird. Anyway, so kidnappings. So in the first episode of this week, episode 12, the two were gonna go out and scout some more locations and stuff, but it's raining, so they slept in, and then they put up like the boards and stuff, and had a nice rainy day. They made some soba because that's what you got to do, and they put in this foreshadowing of her sister posted on her Pinsta, and that's gonna be a pain if mom sees that. That would suck. And then they notice they're running low on supplies, so they call in the troops, which is all their. So they call. She texts his friend, and he gets the whole troops together. They bring a bunch of supplies and stuff, and have a big get together party. They shoot off fireworks and have a grill day.
He
They
plays the
hang out.
ukulele.
That happens at the end. You can't miss the bro time. We're having a girls excursion where they go out and tell ghost stories on a bridge and they get actually scared. Meanwhile, the bros are sitting on the porch going, "So you getting some?" He's like, "No." "So you're getting some?" It's like, "Maybe. I don't know." And so, it's a really cool moment where he's just like, "Listen, you just look different. You look like the guy, the cool guy I remember." Um, then we get the ukulele campfire scene. Um, some more shenanigans and the friends leave, and then the two hold hands all the way back because he doesn't want to let go. And then we get a text message from mom that's like, "Your sister's not there. This is not good. You're alone with a boy in a cottage. I'm coming. We're coming to get you tomorrow morning." The end. Um, and so Ganta, being the Giga Chat that he is like, "Hey, that's fine and all. I'm going to kidnap you." Well, first he's like, "Listen, this sucks. Let's get the place all cleaned up. Make sure it's nice because we were loaning it, and then I'm gonna kidnap you and we're gonna go do it anyways." Um, so they get the place all cleaned up. Um, Most motivated and helpful she's ever been in the entire show. Cleaning that apartment, and then they take the bus out to the Mercury site or something like that to
Milwaukee.
to go look at the stars. Um, they find their spot during the day. They play around in the grass and set everything up. Where they take some really cool pictures at night. Um, and we don't just have the exact same shot with her transposed in front. We have a nice, below shot. We get some good time lapses of the actual sky. We don't actually see the shot that he takes, I think, for the grand prize. Weirdly enough.
Yeah, it's
Um,
really weird.
Yeah.
but we do have the important moment where they both kind of confess to each other. And she cries happy tears. Is big cute. Um, they take a cute. The only picture we do get to see is when they take a picture of each other holding the phone with the other one, um, and transposing each other. Um, they go back to school. We find out she's been grounded, for running away with her boyfriend. Um, and then we have another radio broadcast while Ganto's working up in the tower, and they have this conversation, kind of by themselves, but between each other, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Um,
weird.
it's mostly just her talking and him kind of
I-
commenting on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it
Um,
very much felt like a hey, she's talking, and Aganta's just like speaking his thoughts so that we, the audience, get to feel like it's an actual conversation.
Yeah. And then we get to see like some like transposing of them like snuggling on each other, and then we see the credits roll and little screenshots the rest of the show. Um, but definitely a very good like wrap up for the show here. You get the confession, you get the cute romance scene. Um, we get the results of her being grounded, and they do end up winning the photo contest, and yeah, get some funding for the astrology club finally, or astronomy club.
These last two episodes are really cute. It's really nice. It's a nice little wholesome time. It continues to look good. Its shots are still good. Um, I don't think that any of the things they choose not to do make the show bad. It just leaves me confused. I am not sure why we decided to inject so much trauma and potential death flags into a show that had a resolution for a season that both not only felt like it doesn't need to continue, but also that none of those things were important enough to have any of them come back around. Because I still argue that I don't think Ganta's stuff is deep enough to like comparatively to hers. I'm just like, I don't know what I was supposed to get out of his issues. Like I just don't.
Mommy issues.
I think sure, kind of.
I mean, his whole point is that he's afraid of tomorrow because he never knows what bad thing could come next because of his
Yeah.
mom leaving.
Sure.
But it was like before his before his young child mind gained consciousness, so he doesn't actually physically, like, he doesn't remember why it's a problem. His brain just goes, going to sleep's a bad thing because a bad thing will happen.
Mm-hmm.
When I wake up next, yeah.
And it's like that's fine, but like I don't. I don't feel like
There's
Ganta's
also
stuff
much more of the
hits
story
enough.
we don't have yet.
Yeah, I know there's more, but it doesn't feel like... It doesn't necessarily feel like here we're set up to get any more. Like, this feels like a basically fine ending to a story that if you didn't know there was more, you would think this is done with how the anime concludes it. It is really weird we don't get to see the photo that wins.
Yeah,
That's my biggest gripe is I don't know why we never get that.
I honestly didn't even think about that until after I was like talking about it here, and I went, "Wait, we never actually see the photo, do we?"
We don't know if it's
Yeah.
one of her. We don't know if it's which one of the shots of the sky he takes. At the end, we also do that rundown of, think about all the places we got. And my brain goes, lighthouse. When the fuck did they go to that light?
Yeah.
My brain's like, I'm sure you did go to some of these spots. I don't remember some of it.
I think we had like a flash through of like
Yeah,
a bunch
because
of
I know
few
we flashed through the sunflower fields. And like we got to see them talk about photos he took there. Yeah, this is the odd thing about Insomniacs to me is that it feels like there are so many things that feel like they are here and have a purpose, but we don't touch upon. Because we get a nice little bow on the story wrap up. I might really retroactively find myself enjoying Insomniacs if more content comes to it and it builds on stuff. Cause it's like I enjoy a lot of the supporting cast characters. I don't know why we dig as deep as we do if we don't push any more with them. It's really weird at the end of this episode to have the shot of the guy who is caught out late like Gonta is and gets punished for, who's the asshole during the camping, where it's like, yo man, you're a blonde, looks good. And it's like, but I don't care about him. Why are we dedicating time to him and what he has and not the contest? Or more time with like the senpai.
I mean, that was definitely just like 30 seconds in the last scene.
Still,
but I agree.
But it's like,
And
it's weird.
It's a thing of like showing just like characters change over the vacation, I guess.
I mean,
Like
My
what they
point
always
is
do in
that
anime
they
shows.
set up a lot for a supporting cast network and other potential things to come out that without any outward, hey, a season 2 is going to show up, or, or even like, legitimately, I don't feel like the show ends at a point where you go, okay, there's gonna be more. It more
I think
just
that's
feels
fine though.
Well, I think it's fine for what it accomplishes in its season. I think overall, I feel like there's so much more it could have done. But I do agree that it's a very nice, cute romance that has an enjoyable conclusion for a season. I do not dislike Insomniacs. I do not hate it. I do not even think it was the worst thing we watched. Out of our last set of stuff. That's kind of where
thought
I
it had
lie
a nice
with it.
centralized story, very good moments. And I think I just like the main characters, which is the main focus, right? I think it's in this case, I think it's a like much more like fulfilling story than say something like Horimiya, which you could feel it was rushed because of how fast time moved through that show, right? In this show, I feel like
can agree
time
with
moves
that.
a lot slower,
mean-
so it feels like a very comfortable 13 episode season. Like,
I mean,
in conclusion,
while I agree with that, I also don't think it, not to be rude, I don't think it really matters here. Like, I don't think there's a point in bringing up Horimiya. Like, I know it's the rom-com that we compare.
I'm
everything
just
to.
comparing it to another show, Mason.
No, I do actually get that point, and I do, because I can agree with John. I don't think this feels rushed, and I'm happy for that. I'm happy this feels like a conclusion that you would get at an end of a season. To me, my biggest problem is it just feels like there's so much more, and there's not, but it doesn't feel like the show itself acknowledges or sets up an opening for more to come. Like, this feels closed booked.
I guess I give you this, Sean. Does it feel like there's something more because you want something more, or because it actually like presents to have more? Because obviously there's more manga behind this, right?
Yeah.
But is it more of like it feels like something more and leaves you wanting more because you actually want to see more from the show, or is it more just because like that's just what the show gives off? I guess is the question.
I think it's a bit of both. In that I definitely wanted other things from this show that it felt like it laid groundwork for, but also in that like obviously knowing that it has more, influences this. Um but like it really is just like, I don't know. I on a romance level, on a this two character dynamic, on a objectives we set for the arc we've been going through, I think this closes nicely.
Mhm.
I just think there are other things that pop up that leave me personally like walking away going, okay, I like it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a
I
good
think
show.
it's a big difference that you'll find between like I think that's also a difference in genres personally.
Well,
Like
yeah.
in which like a lot of big budget shonens that have higher like budgets for action and things like that are gonna have more open-ended endings because they want to adapt more of the shonen, right?
Mhm.
Whereas when you get to rom-coms, people want that satisfying conclusion at the end that actually just brings it around and can be satisfied with one season most of the time.
Yeah,
And
like,
people,
Obviously,
Yeah.
or
when you're
and-
producing
like,
them, you never
I think-
you never can predict if you're gonna actually get your
Yeah.
your later
And,
season.
and again, that's why it's so hard to compare shows that are like such vastly different genres, like we see here, right?
Mhm.
Because it's like you're saying, like for you, it's like, I want more from this show, but it feels like it's done and it's not going to get more, right? Whereas we were talking about Hell's Paradise, and it's like, oh, we know we're getting more. I'm looking forward to what we get, right?
Yeah.
So it's an
For-
interesting like dichotomy.
For me, it really is a matter of I know Hell's Paradise is we know Hell's Paradise was going to get more. Even before it was officially announced, it was blatantly clear they weren't going to finish a story like this in 13 episodes.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, part of like my thoughts on these shows really are, like part of Hell's Paradise's job, knowing that it's going to need to continue, should be that it should have a satisfying conclusion to its season. Part of Insomniacs for me, because I want to make it clear, I went into Insomniacs, not really knowing or caring about anything in relation to its manga or its length. So I went in going, what I'm gonna get, we're gonna write it out, and I personally expected a resolution to it. And while there are elements that definitely did hit that, to me there are parts of it where I'm like, I feel like it just doesn't feel as fulfilling as I really wish the show would have been for me. And that's where I lie with it. And to me, that is an element of the show, is that I feel like I should be satisfied with the main points feeling like they all got wrapped up, and I don't think that happened. I think like most of the core stuff did, but like I legitimately walk away from Insomniacs going, why bring up the heart thing? Like there are like minor things you could make the points for, sure. But I feel like there is so much groundwork laid by what this story does with Marguerite's condition, and like so much we don't know, and so much it feels like we're not supposed to know, that to have nothing at the end in relation to either of their like why they have insomnia coming up or coming back up, or even feeling like it gets mentioned by something, it feels odd to me, and it's not satisfying in that regard for me.
This complaint, in my opinion, feels like watching the first 20 episodes of Naruto and complaining that we haven't fully explored the Nine-Tailed Fox yet, because there's more to do. The story isn't done. They're introducing the manga introduced. The manga's still going. It's 122 chapters. We got to about 45.
But it feels off because of how it wraps up as a romance.
Yeah.
Right.
I think this is an absolutely good conclusion to this arc, and it's a satisfying end to what we have, but there's still stuff to keep exploring. I feel like it's weird to complain that it introduced more stuff to keep going with and doesn't wrap up everything in 13, because there is more to do.
Yeah. And it opens it up for the possibility to get a second season, right? But
Will it get one? Maybe. This shit was really popular, I think, so...
I hope so. I know it's a popular manga.
Preach.
I know my buddy Austin like highly praises this manga.
I'm trying to find exactly what chapter we are
And he
at.
just messaged me and just says thank you, Michael.
Just-
But no, like I think that's a good
I
point where it's like
I absolutely get that critique of like how I'm viewing this, that it might not be fair. But like the big thing I'm trying to get out of this is that, you know, while I feel this way, it's just more of like, this wasn't the expectation I felt like this show gave me to even the conclusion we got. Like I'm satisfied and enjoyed the romance and nice character dynamic we got. I think that is all good. I enjoy everything about the actual like astronomy element of this show. That's all great. We how many weeks did we sit watching this show and go, the knife's coming, the dagger's coming. It really feels like they're doing something with it. And like I think it is fair for me to look at this show and be like, I feel like it's great. It's a good show. I'm not as in on it as I would have been if I felt like it was utilizing or hit more with those things it had set up, even if those things are for the long term. Because you know what? You can absolutely say, if it's Naruto and you're sitting there and you're like, man, I wish they did more with the Nine-Tailed Fox at this point in the story. That's a valid thing to say. I don't think it's is it maybe unfair to at the grand scheme of things? Sure. But like, if you are judging something in the time frame you have it, and you don't feel like something that was set up to matter in the moment got there, I think that's a fair thing to say, in my opinion.
I agree, but at the same time, you could point the same thing out with Hell's Parodies of things that are unresolved that have been brought up, right?
Yeah, it just feels really weird to claim unresolved things in an unfinished story. But like, it's fair. Like, you can have your own criticism. It just feels really weird to me.
It's definitely a sense of like,
everyone has their own opinions about things. We're gonna see when we get to the third.
I would be less
opinions that are gonna be thrown.
I would be less hard on it about this if I felt that this show made it feel like we were getting more. But that's kind of my point, is that this really feels like a done wrapped 13 episode show. So regardless of whether I know it has more manga coming, the 13 episode experience I got on this podcast, I don't feel like I got everything I wanted out of it. And that's fine.
Yeah. I think it's just a discussion of, would you rather have a romance end open-ended, or would you rather have a like more satisfying conclusion to a story? Right?
I think you can end the way this show ends and still leave something that makes you go, yeah, I'm excited for if they do continue this in a way that I
feel like it does. It's just like it's not as clear cut, because the goal of a romance is getting the pair together most of the time, right? And so naturally, when that happens, it feels concluded. I know we're just talking in circles.
They set up.
I've been sitting here for 20 minutes listening to you guys do this.
I'm so
and
sorry.
You've been saying the same shit back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
literally over and over.
Yeah, there is no convincing
Mason,
the other
what do you
side
think
of
about Insomniacs?
That's
I
not
agree with
what
Sean.
I'm trying to do. I'm not I'm not trying to convince you guys of my point. I just wanted to make it feel like it seems clear that my point is like, there isn't like an objective set up for at the end of the season for something down the line. There isn't another goal. Like, they won the competition. They're gonna get funding. They are basically kind of a couple, excited to see each other in the next semester of school. We haven't touched the school life for me to feel like that's the thing where I'm like, yeah, it could pick back up. As far as I'm concerned, I could walk away from Insomniacs and go, that's it. I got everything I needed to out of it, because it has a nice, clean, good conclusion. And it's gonna be very clear when I talk about Deadmount that when I look at how these three shows went, Hell's Paradise perfectly nails the I am a long-running show whose job is to leave you with an expectation of what is coming. It clears up the conflict and arc that you are in. It sets up for where it's going. And then with Insomniacs, you have a show that nails a lot of the core of what it's trying to do and get at, but personally for me, doesn't leave room for other things to have grown and maybe make me feel like there is more, or that they were worth setting and laying the groundwork of, like that everything felt like it really was used and put into the product in the way it was, but it was still a really good, solid show with a great ending that left me feeling content. I will talk about Deadmount Deathplay and how it varies from these two once we let Mason and Michael talk a little more about this show.
Michael, do you want to go first? Do you want me to?
You can go first. I mean, I've already said most of what I would say. I think this was a good conclusion to a romance that you're going to get in 13. Our next arc, on my brain, the next arc set up as they're dating now, they have funding. We get to go through what dating's like. Cough, cough, Horimiya. Because that's Horimiya's whole shtick, is that they get together episode 1.
Is it 1?
No,
Or it's like 1 or 2.
It doesn't.
It's like 3.
It doesn't matter.
Semantics.
They were together before we talked about it.
Sorry,
So-
it's just it's fresh on the mind because the new season's out and my brain is like, hurry me up.
So, I agree with Sean's criticisms. I still really love this show. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's very clear by the fact that I put this show at 1 above my own show. That doesn't happen often. Just based on my voting patterns. Like, I'm sorry, I'm biased. And I liked this show enough that I went, no, this deserves 1. I think it does. But it also feels like 13 episodes were good. And there's enough left over where it's like, okay, but like, why did we talk about this? Or things like that. And it's also got the romance show curse of, do you get another season? That's iffy. I still really love it. The main things for me that I'm like, both I loved and both I didn't like. I mean, obviously they're adorable. Like, they're just really good characters. They're fun to interact with. They're enjoyable. It's nice seeing how they grow closer over the course of the show. I really enjoy it because it's a very, like, it doesn't seem forced for their relationship like some romances can be. Why the fuck did we not see the picture? Why didn't we see that? We've seen literally every other one. Why didn't we see it for the one that matters?
Real silly thing they do.
Because their picture means more.
Mia, the picture, them taking a picture of each other, fucking adorable.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
No, it's great.
I haven't even mentioned my favorite part. I don't even know if we kind of like skimmed it in the synopsis. The part where the friends come and I'm singing along to the commercial song on the ukulele. That whole like minute and a half.
Real good.
That was fucking
good.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I loved that section. It was so good.
It was.
Also, their friends are great.
Yeah.
I ship Nono and the guy because they interacted once.
A deer goes.
Yeah, the deer screeches.
That-
The deer
by
screeches
the
in
way-
the forest, and you're around to hear it.
Entirely
Then you be
separate
spooked.
point. Mason and I talked about things doing horror really well, despite that not being their main genre in relation to something he was playing outside of this. Two things technically.
Things.
This show nails that scene. It's unnerving. The timing's great. It's really wonderful in that. Wonderful. I love that. That was great.
See, I personally didn't. I thought that scene was a little silly because the sound did. Because they're like, it sounds like a woman screaming. I'm like, that doesn't sound at all like a woman screaming.
The first
That
time.
sounds like a fucking door creaking or something.
The
That
first
absolutely was
time-
not the sound file they were supposed to
First time was a
use.
door
The
creak.
first time or two, I was like, yeah, I think you guys are a little on edge. After they did it a while, I was like, you know what? I could understand it if someone just got done telling me a horror story about a woman screaming and being left alone.
Fair.
Then
I
you hear that
actually-
and you go, yeah, you know what? Fuck that. I'm out of
That's
here.
fair. It was
Yeah.
just really funny. The first like few, I'm like, that's just not even close to the correct sound. This is
I
supposed
will
to
be honest, my brain was like, I don't even know what the fuck that could be. And then it was like, it's a deer. I go, what the fuck?
Deer do
Shut
that.
up.
I've never heard them do that. I live by like
Look,
50
All
million of
I
them,
know
and I've
about
never
deer
heard
is that
them
they
do that.
stand in the
almost
middle
take
of
them on
my
the way to work
street and
once a week.
stare at me while I'm about to
Yup.
drive into them.
Yup.
Mhm. They also eat flowers.
One might say, like a
on their
deer in
lawn
headlights.
and then shit on it.
Michael, is there anything you want to add about Insomniacs?
Can't believe they ruined a bromance.
stars are really pretty. I really like the sections where they show. I like the thing where like it would look up at the stars, and then it does like the thing that like a picture would do, which is where you get like the streaks because it's like a long exposure time. Those are really nice, really pretty. Dead Mount Death.
Okay, let's talk about Dead Mount Deathplay. Dead Mount Deathplay had 1 episode, and boy, would I have been so much more comfortable if it had 2. So this episode of Dead Mount Deathplay does have a lot of things I like in it. I wanna make that clear. Let's run through. We pick up where we left off. The Corpse God and Polka are awake and on the phone with the fire-breathing bug. Polka immediately goes, "Okay, what the fuck are you talking about? And what do you know? Are you also a child of my father?" To which the fire-breathing bug goes, "No." And we don't get a lot else on that point. But we do get to expand a little. Polka then kind of goes, "Okay, where the fuck are you?" Let me just zone out the entire area. Okay, so people on the street, people on the roof. Why the fuck are there people on the roof? People on the street, people on the roof. The person calling me has to be somewhere nearby. Wait a minute. One of the auras on the roof and one of the auras on the street match the people who came to talk to me at their fortune readings. Meanwhile, crazy finger battle going on the roof of the building. We get more of the Phantom Solitaire being the Phantom Solitaire. Lemming shows up. We get the wonderful bit that is he's on your side? He's not on my side. He's on your side? Oh, he's on my side. And Lemmings immediately goes, whoa, bang! And he goes, I swear he's on my side. I promise you, he's just so crazy, you never know who he's gonna target. And then we see that the cops stumble upon the girl in the raincoat that says fire safety. It is by far my favorite gag that no one acknowledges that raincoat says fire safety. It is so funny to me. But they walk up, they're like, "Hey, little girl, it's like really late at night, and you're out here in a raincoat when there's," checks glasses, "no rain. The fuck?" And she's just like, "Oh, my dad and I are looking for my lost dog. We think it ran into this building. My dad should be on the way shortly." And then the older guy who partakes in the fire-breathing bug eventually shows up and is like, "That is my daughter. Please, we are looking for my dog." Meanwhile,
Honey, have you seen my dog?
Meanwhile, Polka goes and casts the domain expansion, and we get some flashbacks into Polka being taught this, and we learn a little bit about the fantasy world, and we see his teacher and a dryad thing that are court mages, and they talk a bit about the corpse god and how he cares. He's a very empathetic person, and that can be a problem sometimes. But also he has the ability to conjure a field that basically lets him manipulate spirits with inside it and prevent people from leaving, kind of ish. He then starts to manifest hands, spirit hands, kind of like the shadow strangle technique that Shikamaru uses. It's dope. And he then, at first they start out as invisible, and he starts fucking with the Phantom Solitaire and Lemmings, at which point they go, "What the fuck is going on? Why can't we hit each other?" And then the Phantom Solitaire goes, "Yeah, fuck this, I'm out," and air balloons his way out of there. And then proceeds to play a Sonic minigame and hop his way out. And I'm trying to piece some things together, because it has been a bit.
Lemmings.
Yeah, that
can't cut him.
Yep, that is also true.
We try to grab Lemmings, can't grab them.
We
hands
get
too weak.
Yep, they wind up. So Phantom Solitaire gets away. I don't even know if we wrap the roof battle. It might technically still be going on. Does Lemmings leave?
Yeah, no, because he chases after Phantom Solitaire and then just falls.
Right. So he is removed from the situation. Correct. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then Polka's like, "Hey, did we get anyone out of this?" And the Corpse God is like, "Yes, I caught the one on the street. We'll worry about that later." And we go into the end of the episode where it's everybody kind of going, okay, this was weird. The fire breathing bug comet chain is like, damn, this ain't good. Some shit's going on. We gotta do something about this. Time to get in on it. We see Takaru.
Takumi?
No, the brother who's in charge of lemmings and
Yeah,
the
older
other
brother
groups.
in charge.
Oh,
Of like
yeah, that's
definitely not trying to kill. Definitely didn't order.
I think it's Takaru.
Hold on, I'll find it.
Don't mind us. We just have to scroll through 8,000 characters who aren't in this show.
Tucker, yeah.
Takaru. You know why I remembered his name? He shares it with a Digimon character.
Of course he does.
True.
That's TK.
Checks.
That's
Yeah,
TK's
it's
name.
TK.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's TK.
We see Takaru kind of just be like, okay, things are going to progress from here. And then we get a shot of an entirely new group of people to introduce into the next season, I assume, who I don't quite remember what their exact tie is to this. I do not remember how they stinger into this. I'm not gonna lie. And we also then get to see where is her name? Big titty woman.
Lisa?
Yes.
Sure.
Or Clarissa?
Yes. Lisa. Yeah. Clarissa. Lisa. Yes. We see her kind of just like acknowledging things are moving. Same with her cop squad. And that wraps the season. And they do indeed just flat go, yeah, we're in October. I think there's a lot of neat stuff here. I really like Dead Mount Death Play. I enjoy what it does. I would not be surprised if after I go finish Yamada, Mashal, Skip and Loafer, maybe even Heavily Delusion, I feel like they have a stronger season conclusion than Dead Mount Death Play does. I do not feel it really does, and you know what? To the show's credit, it aired with everyone knowing it was gonna be a split core in October. But it really does, outside of the fact that it already won me over previously, it doesn't really throw anything too new at the end that makes me go, oh, I'm so hyped. It really just makes me go, God damn, this feels like a kind of awkward place to stop. I really want October to come sooner so I can see where you go with this. But I wind up walking away from the show still enjoying it. Oh, we get a picture of Misaki sleeping through all of this, which I do think is funny. Also, it appears she's in her own apartment. That she doesn't stay with them. Or she just is in her own room in the apartment. Crazy if she didn't wake up. I think...
She's EB and Neeby to Sleepy.
I
A
really...
Sleep G-Log guy.
I really enjoy the stuff in the fantasy world with the teacher and introducing that more. It really feels like they're setting it up to play a big role. And even if they don't, I just appreciate that they're not just getting rid of it entirely. I always hate that with shows where they introduce a really cool previous thing for a character and they just dump it because they're like, the important thing is where they are now. In terms of like isekai, transportation, reincarnation stuff, I hate that. So I'm glad it's not doing that. I think those characters are really cool and interesting. Their names are fucking ridiculous and goofy. I really like, despite it feeling like a domain expansion, the way they do that, the way they establish what happens in it, is all really cool. Not a lot happens in this episode, and not a lot of it's too memorable. But I wind up walking away overall still positive on this show, but very clearly to me, this is still the bottom show of the set. In my mind, and it's my show. I 100% can understand. There are probably a lot of other shows this season that rightfully could be here. And you know what? What happens, happens. I think we had a really solid top, 6 to 7 show cut. And for me, I'm happy Dead Mount Death Play got here because it was a show that we were very on the fence about. I did feel like it earned its way up to some degree. And I'm happy to have had it. still really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to the next season.
I think it's an interesting way to conclude the show. I think it's definitely the weakest of the three conclusions, and just that like it feels like it like somewhat wraps up, somewhat leaves it open, but doesn't really do much groundbreaking stuff in the last episode or two. I was a bit disappointed with like the last like fight scenes here because we had a little bit of action, and then we had the sticky hands that you have like on the string that aren't very fast though. And apparently still somehow caught the people on the street, but didn't do much in terms of like speed or range to catch our whatchamacallit, Phantom
But
Solitaire.
to be fair, he's a very slippery man.
He's a very slippery man. I mean, he did escape from fire safety, but I was just a little disappointed with how, like Polka, given like how much we've seen him like just like absolutely decimate certain things, that he like expands this domain. It feels really epic, and it feels like it kind of was a bit underwhelming. It's like can't touch lemmings. Not gonna touch that guy. He's too far away. I have range issues. And then trust me, I got this guy. Don't worry, ask questions. I got this one.
It's because of the way they talk up the bit. They're like,
And also,
oh, it's super powerful ability I can only do here because of the lack of mana and my connection to the spirits, and it's a thing even my master couldn't do, and then it does fucking nothing.
But like he
Phantom
also
Solitaire
catches,
just gets away.
he also catches the girl, and we see someone like holding the girl, and my question is like, who is that?
A thrall.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that meant.
I'm pretty sure it's
I
just
mean,
a
it
thrall.
might be a reincarnated
Like
spirit,
a spirit or a thrall.
It's some bullshit he just summoned.
But like,
It's the fact that they talk up this fucking power, and Venatalter slowly just flies away on his weather balloon.
It has
It just felt so unsatisfying.
the
That
character
he leaves
hey,
that
but it
way.
did look
He didn't
really
even, like get out
spooky
a
on the-
cool way by like jumping to the side, doing cool crazy card shit to block him. He just floats away slowly. Mary Poppins.
The thing that does catch the girl
A
on
Mary
the fire-breathing
Poppins, y'all.
bug does have the red eye, very much implying that it's something directly under Polga's control. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's arguably an underwhelming fight. I appreciate that they establish why it's not going to be bad shit insane, and that's because Polka can't expose himself necessarily. He can do his shit from inside, which is what this lets him do. It lets him fiddle with people from outside without himself actually revealing and being like, "Hi, giant skeleton, come fight me." Like he can't do that because that gives away where he is and what he can do and who he is exactly to the people he doesn't want to have that information. And I appreciate they established that before he starts doing shit.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think of the show?
I mean, I will say this: the ending to it wasn't great, but overall, I really enjoyed this show. I liked the mystery that we got from it. I'm excited for the second season of it. I thought it was really good. Yeah, that's kind of about all I really have to say on it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's hard
The
to say
thing
much
with the
about
show
this
is that
episode, but yeah,
because you can clearly tell is the way Insomniacs got through its stuff is that it paced itself in a way that it landed at a place that had a solid feeling conclusion at its 13. This, because it didn't need to, didn't pace itself in a way that left it anywhere I can't think satisfying for its end of 12. This ending fucking blows. And it literally it just ends in the it just feels like an episode 12 of a 24 episode thing running straight. This doesn't feel like the end of a 12 episode season. It feels like episode 12 of 24.
is it continuing
Which means
next
it
for like next
feels
season?
October, it's a break. It takes
there's a break. So this just feels really bad. It just doesn't feel like a conclusion at all. The other two shows, clearly, even though there was more after, landed at a place that felt satisfying. This one just fucking goes, nah, Phantom Solitaire got away. Fuck you. We're in the middle of random shit happening.
Did I break something? Is there a reason I can't answer my own name question in my document? What the fuck did I do, guys? I'm sorry to interrupt, but what the fuck did I do? Can you put a name in?
You better be able to. This is very important. But overall, though, I think Deadmau5 is a good show. I mean, you could argue that other shows deserve to be here, but it's very much semantics. Deadmau5 got here because it had really good stuff coming towards the end. I don't know if you guys have watched any of the other shows completed. I think there is better conclusions. I don't know if you can consider better shows, but I think Deadmau5, like you said, like it's definitely like this feels like episode 12 with episode 13 coming next week. Which is fine. It does happen sometimes with those two core shows that are guaranteed. But it definitely does feel a bit unsatisfying, especially with how much like this show felt like it was like really ramping up around like episodes 9 and 10, and then I feel like the last two it kind of slowed down a little bit again to start building up for this like larger arc kind of thing of like, who knows about this symbol? What is the point of this symbol? Why do they know about it and know about him kind of, but don't know anything else about the topic? So
Okay. Well, while I let responses roll in, we're all done with Deadmau5. We've all expressed general thoughts.
stats.
That's right, baby. It's
stats,
stats time.
Stats.
So
No one else?
let's run into this.
Trying to think of a good funny name.
You have plenty of time. So let's play our game. What do you? We'll start Hell's Paradise. What do you think its lowest placement was?
I think it's close with a 4 or 5.
5.
It is 6. John had
Was
it
it me?
at 6 at week 3. Yes.
Of course he did.
What was Insomniacs' lowest? What do you think?
I think it would
8.
That feels crazy that it would be
I think it was
8.
a 7 at one point.
I know Sean had it pretty low at first.
I don't
You know,
Mason had
Mason
it
also put
really
it pretty
high.
low. If you
No, Mason
die.
had it really high early, actually.
I had it high.
Because Mason's
For
original
most
of it. Near the
feeling was, like,
end,
I really
it-
vibe with this show.
But at the end, it couldn't go too low.
Yeah.
7.
You going 8, Mason?
Yeah.
But you, Michael, what do you think?
I think it's closer to like a 5.
It is indeed 8. At my first week, I had it at an 8. I was not sold on this show.
We had some bangers week 1.
We did.
Lowest that Deadmau5 Death Play ever got.
Oh,
This is
11,
10.
really funny to me.
10.
I can't remember it to be a 7 because it just sat kind of there.
Watch this one be a 5. I'm gonna go 5.
No. I started mine at low at like an 8 or a 7.
It
I'm going
is
up.
it is 10. Mason,
10.
week 1. Which is why I
Oh,
think
wow.
it's so funny
That's right.
because Mason
Yeah.
Mason had it maybe the highest it ever got for most of us.
Yeah.
And I love that. Which does mean if we're looking at a statistical standpoint, Hell's Paradise had the highest lowest place ever throughout the season, so a win in its book on a stat line. Technically speaking.
Yeah.
Let's run through it. How many shows do
found
you
this
think had a
today.
first place finish this season?
Oh, a lot.
7.
A lot. I think
Solid.
it's like
See how many
6
I
or
specifically
7.
did.
I think Yamada snuck up there one week.
Yeah,
I give it to-
I
I only had
Paradise,
2 shows ever in number 1.
It was
Skip and Loafer
Insomniacs and
definitely
Skip and
did.
Loafer.
Yeah, those are my
Heavenly
only 2 number
Delusion,
1.
maybe. Did Demo
So
play once?
what were the numbers you were thinking, John, for first place finish? How many shows?
I feel like it's 6 or 7. I'm
Mason?
gonna go 6.
7.
Michael?
Okay, so let me go through and count.
Like,
So
I think
so this one,
I think all 3 of our
this
top
one I
shows,
think
right?
got one. That one. Ain't no fucking way these 3 did. If they did, that's a problem. This one, that one didn't. I don't think that one did. This one.
I
I think
the
it's 7.
shows- I feel like the shows that did it were
3
Unless
shows had
someone put-
3
unless
shows
someone
had
put-
first place finishes this season.
really
Really?
You want to guess
Hell's
which 3
Paradise.
they were?
Hell's Paradise, Insomniacs, Yamada.
No. In Hell's Paradise, Insomniacs,
Skip
Skip
and
and
Loafer.
Loafer.
Skip and Loafer.
Correct.
Duh, because
What do
me
you
and
think
Michael
had
Skip
the-
and Loafer
what
I
do you
both
think-
thought Mashal had a number 1 from
Nope.
Sean at one point.
It did not.
Do you really? I thought
high-
Mason
it-
put Yamada.
And I know
down for
Heavenly
me.
Delusion, I think
Nope.
hit it 2
I
at
heard
least
that
once on
We
someone.
quite literally never put anything at 1 if it wasn't Insomniac Hell's Paradise or those Skip and Loafer weeks where we were really high on it, which I think I might have done
Me
it
and Michael
once.
had it every week.
I think I did it once. I think John and Michael had it a couple of times at
I
once.
had it for most of the
I
season
had it
until-
twice.
I had it at one
Every
week I voted
other
off.
week was Insomniacs.
So, what show do you think had the most first place finishes?
Insomniacs.
Hell's Paradise.
It's between those
Michael?
two.
I think it's
Actually, it might be Skip and Loafer. I had Skip and Loafer, and Michael
I
did
think-
two for
No,
like half
it's
the
not
season.
Skip
no,
and
it's not
Loafer.
good. I think it's gonna be Hell's Paradise because we had two people who had it like there the whole fucking season, while me and John like switched around sometimes.
Skip
See-
and Loafer, Hell's Paradise. Yeah, it's probably Hell's Paradise.
You
It can be different
say
to, like,
that.
two.
You say that, but you forget the last couple of weeks. I thought Insomniac had a lot of better episodes. It is Insomniac's 18 first place
It's not even
finishes.
close.
Hell's Paradise had 12. Skip and Loafer had
It's not even
6.
close. What the fuck?
Because you have to consider that towards the end, it really was mainly Mason
Oh,
putting
we also had
Hell's
5
Paradise
weeks,
at
too.
1, whereas I had Insomniac there a lot towards the end, because I thought the last couple of episodes towards the end weren't as good for Hell's Paradise, where I did really enjoy Insomniac stuff.
36.
Okay, second place finishes. How many shows?
That one's 7.
8.
Michael.
Okay, so let's see how many I put there. So we had this
Michael's
one,
cheating.
2,
Michael's
3.
a cheater.
See, I only put 3 shows at number 2. So it doesn't help me though.
Correct.
I mean, you gotta know how many shows I put at number 2, because my list I feel is the biggest one that just goes every week.
I think there's like 6.
Sometimes Mason's too.
There is
Yeah.
6. Wanna
Try
try?
again. I'm off this season.
I got it. So we got Hell's
wanna go next.
Paradise, Yamada. Actually, no. I
Number
don't think
two?
I don't think Yamada ever
I
got
don't think
2.
it's our
Hold
number
on.
2.
So, and Hell's Paradise, Insomniacs, Maxwell, I think got put there once. We got Skip and Loafer. We got My Clueless First Friend. No.
Dead Mount.
Deadmount.
One
I
more.
put it there.
I think it's
Uh,
Heavenly Delusion.
Heavenly
Heavenly
Delusion.
Yes.
Heavenly
Right?
Delusion.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
What do you think had the most second place finishes?
Hell's Paradise.
By a
Insomniacs.
fucking mile.
Oh, hell.
Hell's Paradise had
Yeah.
had
If it
14.
wasn't 1, it's gotta be 2, because it was literally 1 or 2 on everyone's list
Hell's-
every single week.
Hell's Paradise had 14 second place finishes. Next highest was 8 for Skip and Loafer.
Which is mostly me
Insomniacs
and Michael putting
Insomniacs had
Insomniacs and
7.
Hell's Paradise over it.
Insomniacs had 7. Deadmount Deathplay had 4. Heavenly Delusion had 2, and Mashal had 1.
Like literally for me and Michael, Hell's Paradise, Insomniacs, and Skip and Loafer were top 4 every single week. I think. Almost.
Time for the stat that
Uh,
doesn't
Hell's
matter.
Paradise dropped out of it once for me.
Time for the stat that doesn't matter. How many shows got third place finishes?
Top
Uh,
fucking 9 of them.
Yeah, I think all but like 3 of them.
8 or 9.
I think the first week is so volatile, and I think my list was fucking. A lot of our lists were just
So-
like,
It
absolutely
is-
Well,
wild.
that's
it-
not the ones that wouldn't have. It wouldn't. There's no way this one did. No way this one did. No, I think it's 9 of them.
8.
I mean, Mason really liked Marginal.
Fuck. Which is the one?
Blue
Okay, so
Orchestra?
Blue Orchestra, My Home Hero, and Marginal definitely didn't because they didn't deserve it. Those shows were dog shit.
Let's not forget the show we went off week 1.
Dangerous in My Heart.
Oh,
I think
My brain
I think
didn't
My
make
Home
fingers in
Hero.
my heart in that count. Fuck.
My
Let's do
Home Hero actually did.
Nope.
No.
What do you think had the highest amount of third places?
Yamada.
You're right.
Tough.
It's Yamada.
Yamada?
Yamada had 9 third place finishes. The next highest was Deadmount Deathplay with 7. Hell's Paradise had 6. Heavenly Delusion had 4. Mashal and Skip and Loafer had 3. My Clueless First Friend had 2, and Insomniacs had 2. Which brings us to running through that, statistic wise, point for Insomniacs, point for Hell's Paradise, point for Yamada-kun. Not that matters for Yamada-kun, but now,
Fun stat.
fun fact, or top 3 of the podcast finished in top 3 64% of the time. All
That's
3 of them
not-
together. If you
Oh, okay,
swapped, and I only did it for this one, if you swapped Deadmau5 with Skip and Loafer, it would go up to 70%.
That's really funny.
That was just I did that because, and the only reason I did it was because Skip and Loafer was so prominent
So high
on
on
top
1 and 2,
three on
yeah.
top 3 placements that I was like, it is the only other one for reference. It is, and well, hold on. What show do you think had the most top 3 finishes? I did say numbers.
I think
But-
it's gonna
Hell's
be Hell's Paradise. Because Insomniacs dropped. I don't think anyone but me dropped Hell's Paradise out of top 3.
No, I think it's.
But I know
Insomniacs.
Insomniacs dropped out of it time.
So John thinks Insomniacs.
It's gonna be
I
close
think it is
between
Insomniacs.
them.
Michael
Yeah.
thinks Hell's Paradise.
I think Insomniacs.
Is this?
I'm gonna work from the bottom up. My Clueless First Friend was in top 3 2 times. Mashal
Good
was
job,
in
Clueless.
Mashal was in top 3 4 times. Heavenly Delusion was in top 3 6 times. Out of 36, by the way, that's your reference number, because
Yeah.
each show has 36 chances to be in top 3. Yamada-kun,
Yes and no.
9
but yes.
times. Well, yeah.
Limited by how often how long they're on podcast.
Well, yeah.
Well,
still.
yes, but
I get what you're saying. It's fine.
that's the only way to do the statistic.
Exactly. I get it.
We're not doing
I
this
get it.
percentage wise.
Yamada-kun, not 9 top 3 finishes. Dead Mount Deathplay 11, Skip and Loafer 17, Insomniacs 27, Hell's Paradise 32 out of 36.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds right.
Okay.
Yep.
I was 2 of those.
I was probably the other 2.
I think you were. I don't think Mason or I ever dropped it out of top 3.
I agree.
For good reason.
There may have been like 1 week I might have. I don't remember, but I think I'm a lot of Insomniacs not top 3.
I think I'm a bit of it too. I know Mason's like.
I did some of it. I
Yeah,
did some of it.
because you had Insomniacs at 4 or 5 a lot towards the end.
Yeah.
Which is the part where, just to say, it is the part where it starts really gearing and kind of changing to the regular rom-com romance, just a couple's coming together and away from I am stabbing you with a knife. Which is fun. So, ladies and gentlemen, the results are in.
Boys and girls. Well,
And by
boy.
that I mean, let me calculate the results.
I think. Wait, Sean, can I give you the numbers? Fuck, no, I had them written down. I think it was. I think the
Michael's got
numbers
the
are
hot
going to
prediction.
be this, that.
Okay.
Wait, is it 1, 2, 3, or is it like high points? 3 points for first place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 3,
So
2,
it's-
1. I think I have exact numbers. If I don't, then someone voted differently than I expect.
Is it?
But I
I-
think I know how people vote.
I think
Oh,
I
is
got
it-
Michael.
It's either this or that. There's 2 options here. So I think it's this.
Why
Or-
I wrote that really wrong. That
or-
would have been
or-
really
or
funny.
it ended up like that.
That would have been really funny if I fucked up in that way.
Michael, you betrayed me.
Yeah, see, it was impossible for you to know because you didn't know that part.
No, I knew that part. I had a feeling.
Oh,
I was thinking about that one. That one was really hard.
Where did
That
you
was
put it,
It's a tough
Michael?
one.
no. Oh, I sent it to him.
Oh. I
Like,
thought,
want
you
me
were
to
gonna...
post what I think it
I
was?
thought you were gonna send it to me. I thought that was the whole point of you doing it.
Oh, see, I wasn't gonna actually send it, but yeah.
Michael got
So
me with
I
the
think
bait and
it's
switch
that. I
hopes
think
up.
those are the point totals.
Michael bait and switch me, hoped up me.
See, we did have the funny thing we could have done, which would have done some dumb
Which would've been
bullshit and
really
made Nathan
funny.
very mad.
But that would have been shenanigans, and that's not fair.
Michael, check your math.
Wait, did I fuck up finding this? Wait. That'd be
Those add to 23, Michael.
yeah, but I can't figure out what number I miscalculated here.
It would be the middle one. Or it's either the middle or the bottom. One of the two.
I'm just vibing.
One should be depends. Because reasonably, with what you know, Michael, the outcome should either be 11.85 or 11.94.
What?
Mm-hmm.
8.5.
Oh, okay. I figured out where I made the miscalculation. Yeah,
Yeah.
that the middle one should be
You missed
higher the way
point,
I
you missed
wanted
the
to do
point.
it.
Yeah.
So you think it is. Michael thinks the results is 11.84.
No, 11.85.
11.85. Yes, sorry. Which would be 11 for Hell's Paradise, 8 for Insomniacs, 5 for Dead Mount Deathplay. Because that is the order the shows present in by picking, which means that is the order I would assign them. Michael is doing the math the exact way I would do it, except he fucked up once.
Yeah,
which to be
brain
fair, I will let you
got it.
know. I will let you know. I almost fucked up because one of our shows, I swapped it getting 3 and 1 point at one point. I'll reveal it. Mason, congrats! You have won this season's with Hell's Paradise 11.85 as the outcome. At one point
My
when
brain
writing,
miscounted the 3 points for
Mhm.
Insomniacs. It just counted it as 3 twos. I don't know why my brain just skipped over that.
Which it would. So we will talk about some things. The first thing I want to say is I did accidentally write Dead Mount Deathplay's score down at first as 2-3-3-3, and I looked and went, wait a minute. Because I saw third place finishes. I
Hey,
went,
wait a minute,
it gets
that one shouldn't have
3. I was like, wait, that math doesn't check out.
That one should have had 12.
So, I always like to do this because I think it's something to consider. To me, I think an expected outcome would be an 11.94. That would be everybody agreeing that Dead Mount Deathplay is definitely the third show.
So I'm not gonna lie, I meant to put Insomniacs at 2.
The
Not
good
3.
news is, and this is exactly what
See,
I
I
checked.
even predicted his fuck up. I'm that good.
The good news is that even if that was how it went, it would not have changed anything. Because the results would be 11.94. The thing that matters in this particular instance is how many
John's pride.
is that Michael put Hell's Paradise at 1.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
That last episode was really good.
Yeah.
I made it sound like I was hating on the show a lot, and that's just because when a show's really good, you nitpick on the really fucking tiny things that irk you, instead of just
like
being mad at entire plot contrivances.
I want you to understand that Insomniacs is like an 8 for me, despite how I talk about it. Like it didn't get to be like a 9 or a 10 because it was just something that I enjoyed and was good.
So I rated my shows already. On any list, my rating goes Hell's Paradise at 8.5. And then Insomniacs and Dead Mount are both at 8 currently. I'm probably gonna lower Dead Mount to a 7.5, but I do really like Dead Mount. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't do half, so mine was just gonna be 9.9, an 8 on a good day.
Mine's, if I wasn't doing halves, mine's 8.987. It's 7.5 if I do halves. Because it would what I do is I rank individually in between those scales of like I look at all my 7s and all my 8s and I decide where I think shit should go, even though that's a terrible way to do that. But like I would put Dead Mount over most of my 7s, knowing what's in my 7s. But it certainly needs more time to get to an 8 or a 9 for me. I expect it to by the end. I expect to really like this. I expect me to finish Dead Mount and then immediately go watch Durarara.
Same, honestly.
I want people to finish Durarara to see if they have the same opinion I do, which is that season 4 is me.
I do know you have that opinion.
It's funny 'cause if you look out on my anime list, the seasons all have higher ratings as they go on. For me, it's the absolute opposite. I think X2 Part 3 is just bad.
Damn, who did it? Did Mason? Did you do it?
What?
The role change? Or did
No.
you do it, John?
Do what?
The role change.
I didn't do it.
I
Michael,
had
did-
that role.
Did
No,
you
he
win?
had it.
You won last season?
I won last
Why did I
season.
think
Yeah.
John won last season?
Because
that was 2
John had a
seasons ago.
streak of like 3 seasons.
Wasn't Boji the Rock last season?
No,
2
that was
seasons ago.
2 seasons ago.
That was winter
Well, what was last
or
season?
fall.
Last season, I won with. Hold on, let me look at my.
I don't fucking remember.
Because it was Tomo. Oh, Trigun.
It was Trigun.
Duh.
It was Trigun.
Duh.
It was Trigun,
Evan
Tomo, and
Fergler.
Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, right?
Yes.
No, the other Buddy
No,
Daddy's
it
the
was
other
Buddy
one.
Oh,
Daddy.
no, Buddy Daddies, yeah.
No.
But no, Buddy, no,
No,
Buddy
it was
Daddies
Sugar-
is-
Yes.
No, it was-
No,
It was Buddy Daddy's. I
Because
have my label when things die.
Because I haven't finished Sugar
Right.
Apple.
You should. You're right.
I should.
I'm
Well,
confused
it's
because I
there.
did
That is
finish
besides
Sugar
the
Apple.
point that we
Yeah.
haven't finished.
So, this is the part
that-
where
listen.
normally we would segue into either talking about new shows or maybe even picking
Just-
them.
Just
But,
letting me know, I would have won if we were allowed to pick Oshinoko. Just for the record.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oshinoko
no
would've-
shit.
Really,
'Cause that's cheating.
really-
It would have been a hard pick. I haven't finished Oshinoko's current season. I am an episode or 2 behind. I think I've only watched 10. But Oshinoko was really good. It would have been a hard choice between it. Dead Mount wasn't getting in the top 3
No.
of Oshinoko is
No.
Absolutely not.
No, absolutely
And
not.
Insomniacs probably would have been in my number 3.
I agree.
But I don't know which would have won. Oshinoko is very good though.
Side story. I told Dylan we were gonna be podcasting last night. Because we thought we were gonna be podcasting last night. It's actually much better we did it tonight. So it worked out in the end. But I had told him that I thought Hell's Paradise was gonna win. I told him I was gonna put Hell's Paradise as my number 1, and I personally thought it should win the season. And Dylan went over Oshinoko and went, Dylan, we didn't put Oshinoko on the podcast. I told you this. He goes, oh yeah, because you've all fucking read it. I'm like,
My bad.
or a large chunk of it. Yeah, literally your fault. You sabotaged yourself, John.
Yeah, kind
That's-
of.
You ever
Fine.
think about that?
Do you know how hard it is to have a show like that you can't talk to people about? Oh yeah, you don't, because none of you are caught up besides me.
Fuck you.
Okay,
I'm
fuck-
caught up.
Okay,
Let's
fuck
go.
you.
Yeah, you're caught
We
up.
talked about this yesterday.
know,
We
I
literally
know.
talked. We literally
John?
went into a separate chat.
I'm not caught up on
John.
fucking anything. Why do you expect this of me?
John, I want you to remember, I was the first one on the podcast to read Chainsaw Man.
But you didn't finish Chainsaw Man. I finished it first.
Okay, true, but I was also the
think
one that
El
I,
Bozo.
Did I
have
finish
ratio.
Chainsaw
Okay.
Man before you?
No, you did. But I
El
also was
ratio.
I was messaging John about Chainsaw Man quite literally 3 years ago.
And he did not cave.
He didn't.
True. Based.
No. Because
don't
there's no
succumb to peer pressure.
because there's no segs in Chainsaw Man.
There's a lot of sex in
There's
Chainsaw
a
Man.
ton
What are
of
you
it.
talking about?
No,
We just didn't get to any
there's-
of it.
There's
we
no
didn't- we
real
didn't get to
segs.
the
There's only
segs.
fake segs.
There's lesbian
Yeah,
sex.
welcome, it's anime.
There's just straight up lesbian sex in the
Yes,
Chainsaw
That's
Man.
how they
In
I
fact, it's
know.
one
my
of the.
characters.
In fact, it's one of the colored pages in the manga.
Yeah.
How
I
did he get
know.
away with it?
It's
They're
wild.
just friends.
So now would normally be the time where
Halloween.
we would talk about the next season or pick the next season, but we're not. We're taking a break, and that is a shame. There are some really good things that look like they might be worth watching or talking about, but we need the break. I am massively behind on a lot of shit. Also, a lot of us have summer plans of going places and doing things that would make
I'm
doing
going to
this
Pittsburgh,
podcast
let's
a
go.
little difficult. Not that that's ever stopped us before, It just also feels like the season to take a break, and I promise it's not because JJK season 2 is coming out and we would just be obsessed with that the entire time.
Mhm. It's
As
not you
well as
guys,
a
it's
bunch of
us.
other stuff. But yeah, we'll see what winds up happening. I've been thinking about, and this might be something that you guys might actually be able to hold me to if you're excited to do it. I was thinking about designing a podcast related, but mainly anime themed Jeopardy board for my friends.
I'm so down.
Because that would take me far less time than doing the other thing I want to do, which is design a anime OP quiz for you guys.
I'm
based on
also down.
That will take me time to actually go edit and post somewhere, whereas I can PowerPoint a fucking anime Jeopardy thing.
They're everywhere.
And I'm very excited to give you the dumbest of categories. Yeah, I want to get on that, and I think we have some absolutely atrocious friends who would suck so much at an anime themed Jeopardy game that we might have to try. So yeah. Do we want to talk about what we've been up to, or do we want to call it here?
I mean, I got a lot that I've been up to. Weirdly enough, since I've been unemployed.
I'm trying to think if I've played D&D. We were very close to the end of that campaign. We acquired an item in yesterday's session that contains the lizard god inside of it. Which mainly means that Dylan gets to yell like a dumb lizard and go, "Let me out! I'm stuck in your pocket." No. It is wonderful. It means we get to hold an orb with a god inside of it and shake him in it. Releasing him may or may not release prematurely the main evil of the campaign, so we aren't doing that yet. We are, however, about to go to war. Don't worry about it. That campaign's wild. What else have I done? I've watched some things. I checked out a couple of first episodes, or tried to, of some stuff from this past spring season. Most of it was nothing's really super interesting to talk about. I watched the first episode of Jujutsu Kaisen 3 times. The episode, season 2, first episode, 3 times. It's worth watching 3 times.
I watched it twice.
It would be fine if he evolved in the Middle Greymon. But
Skull Greymon is not good.
But if he evolved
Skull Greymon, but we gotta turn back to Koromon.
We gotta reset him back to Koromon.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I sent.
You definitely sent me that panel.
Yeah, no, because right after we finished watching JJK, randomly after that, I read the first 10 chapters after where we got, and then stopped because I don't know, I stopped.
You sent me that. We went to go watch the movie, and then as soon as we watched the movie, I binge caught up to JJK in 3 days.
I think my favorite tweet I've seen about JJK is can't wait to see how they animate Gojo and Geto's breakup arc.
I adore them. I'm very excited for stuff. I will not say more because Michael is basically blind from here on out, which is fun. Other things I've done. I think that's it for me. Wednesday, my buddies held an additional 4th of July party because I worked the 4th of July and thus could not have fun. And we watched both Treasure Planet and Atlantis while we were hanging out.
As you do. Yeah, you got one.
Okay, so which one's better?
Atlantis.
Treasure Planet.
Let's go.
Ooh.
Atlantis and Treasure. I haven't watched either one. That's the funny.
Here's my opinion. I've 100%.
I haven't watched a lot of things.
I've 100% seen Atlantis before. I have vague memories of Treasure Planet from when I was younger. I remember really liking both of them. Treasure Planet has a phenomenal song in it. Treasure Planet feels like it is a mix of a tech demo, because a lot of the stuff there for the time period looks really impressive, even if people will tell you it doesn't. It does. The shit they do in that movie's
It's insane.
Visually incredible.
That's why they
the same
ruined
can be
it.
said about Atlantis. But I feel like it's a mix of a tech demo in that regard, and like the baseline of a story, like the bare skeleton of a story and characters. I just don't feel like anything in Treasure Planet goes deep enough. And while Atlantis does have the debuff of being a colonizer, of being a white savior movie, and though most of its characters are one-note tropes, I enjoy them all far the more than I did most of Treasure Planet's cast. I think that watching Treasure Planet with friends makes it a lot better than it is. I think watching Atlantis with friends and watching it on your own is still an enjoyable experience in both ways. I think I would be like, man, Treasure Planet sure is something if I watched it on my own. Those are just my thoughts on those. I really like Atlantis. I'm biased, in a way.
They're both great.
I really like both of them. I heard that Atlantis' sequel is bad. I've never seen it.
To explain how bad I am at watching movies and watching things I shouldn't have, I didn't watch 2009 Avatar: The Blue Man movie until 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Good. It's a waste of time.
Hey, Michael, fun fact. It's just Atlantis.
No, it's Fern Gully.
Well,
I mean, it is Fern Gully,
so,
but that's a
hear me out.
I also have never seen
Hear me
Fern
out.
Gully. You guys say
Atlantis,
that every time
Atlantis is just Fern Gully. Avatar is just Atlantis, which is just Fern Gully.
I didn't watch Mulan until like 2016. I didn't watch Lilo and Stitch until like 2019.
Good news, Michael. Those are both just Fern Gully.
Wait a second.
Wouldn't that be
I
crazy?
just gotta watch Fern Gully.
Quite literally though, Michael, the main antagonistic force of Avatar, Atlantis, and Fern Gully are the exact same character.
Yes.
I didn't watch The Little Mermaid until after seeing my sisters middle school do a live performance of it, and then I went and watched the movie, which was like 5 or 6 years ago.
There's a really good quote.
I just don't watch things, apparently.
There's a really good quote from Atlantis' villain where he's like, "I'm an adventure capitalist," and it's like, "Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are."
I have still yet to watch Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
God damn it.
And it will probably never happen.
Hey, Michael, what have you done? Wait, what have you been up to?
So like there was a game I mentioned that I obtained last week, and I played some of it.
Whoa.
That game being Return of the Obra Dinn.
Yo.
That game is cool. I feel like that I'm at a point where I'm kind of just going through the motions, and I'm unsure if I'm stupid or there's gonna be some like big turn in a moment where I actually start getting something. Because the whole idea of Obra Dinn is that you go to a ship called the Obra Dinn, and bad shit happened on the Obra Dinn. What is that bad shit? Good question. You're gonna find out eventually. And you need to figure out the fates and names of all of the people who were on the Obra Dinn. Well, you know the names of everyone who is on it. You just need to connect their names to what happened to them. And I'm at a point where I know about 20 to 25 causes of death, and I don't have any amount of ability to put a name to any of them. And I'm very confused if I'm going to get anything soon. There's like a few names that I got that I was like, yo, I'm smart with that one. But other ones I was like, I don't fuck it. What am I supposed to do?
Michael, you know why you haven't figured any of that out yet? You're not tapping into the morphogenetic field.
True, I have not tapped into morphogenetic
Just
field.
like the Titanic has the sister ship, the Gigantic, you have to find the Origins sister ship, the Borbergen.
Yeah, true.
Perhaps find an amnesiac detective somewhere along the way, and he'll help guide you to the answers. Anything else, Michael, you've been up to?
No, not really, because I've between last podcast and this, I had it's the days I work.
True. Hey,
oh wait,
Michael.
no, I wasn't even fucking work. What the
4th of
fuck did
July.
I do those 5 days? I literally just fucking sat there.
You watched me play games a lot.
Oh yeah, I did. I think I did get a
I
solid
also
like
did do
12
that.
hours at least of watching Mason play Outer Wilds.
which
Yeah.
we'll let him talk about. I watched
Yeah, which-
Mason
well,
play
which-
Outer Wilds
if we-
and Digimon, which we'll let him
Yeah.
talk about.
If we could transition this into Mason, talk
Well,
about what he did.
hold on a minute, Michael. I have a question for you. What were your thoughts on the first episode of JJK Season 2?
It's good. I mean, yeah, these two are fucking great. It's really funny seeing all the characters. It's like my brain kind of forgot what happens in this, but like I knew it was we're going back in time
I'm back in.
to the first Thanksgiving to get turkey off the menu. Not actually, that's not at all what happened. But we're going back in time.
By the way,
yeah, we are diving back in time.
if you have not watched Jujutsu Kaisen 0, I heavily recommend watching it before Season 2, which it's on Crunchyroll, because 0 gives you a really good idea of Gojo's and Geto's modern day like morals and stances, which are important to understanding their past morals and stances, and how they've changed is kind of part of why you go back to like engage with this backstory. Mason, what have you done?
I played a lot of video
Surely
games.
nothing.
Played a lot of video games. So Michael and Sean were very gracious and both gifted me games from the Steam sale. Michael gifted me Outer Wilds, and Sean gifted me Digimon Cyber Sleuth.
Did Outer Wilds come with the DLC?
Yes,
Yeah,
it did.
I purchased it with the DLC.
So in the same way, we both bought you 2 games.
Yeah, exactly. So I've finished Outer Wilds. I've not finished the DLC. Outer Wilds, just base game, is now in my top 5 games of all time. It's very good. It's definitely not a game for everyone. Yeah, Sean, I feel, would not like it at all.
Yeah, there's a reason I didn't gift him the game as well.
Yes.
That's specifically because of a certain thing he said about a game. But I won't say anything about it because I don't want to spoil. If people can go into Outer Wilds as blind as possible,
Yes.
that's
Do
what
it.
I want to do. Best way to explain Outer Wilds: it's an adventure puzzle game.
With some space exploration.
Yeah, and the way you advance in the game and go through your adventure is to obtain knowledge.
It's good. It's very good.
So you want to have as little knowledge going in, because any
Mhm.
knowledge that spoils anything ruins parts of the experience. Cough, cough. Why I like the DLC more, because like I had entire puzzles that I already knew that I spoiled for myself because I'm dumb.
I am very glad that I didn't know basically anything about Outer Wilds except for the main gimmick of it.
Which you even forgot about, what
Yeah, I
which was
forgot.
even
about it.
funnier.
Yes. Like the first time the gimmick happens, I just went, "Oh, right. Shit." Yeah, I'm working through the DLC on that. It's spooky.
DLC's very spooky.
Like
It's spooky.
Michael told me, "Hey, it's a bit spooky." And I went, "Yeah, okay." And then I got into the DLC area. I was like, "This doesn't seem that bad," but I'm a little unnerved because Michael said it's spooky. And then I was playing it on stream
And
for
it
Michael,
was.
for all of my co-hosts, and yeah, it was fucking spooky.
It's spooky.
I was over there on the bench.
Yeah. See, but I was there on the bench. He was over there.
And you saw him push him. Yeah. Why didn't you do anything? I was over there on the
Okay.
bench.
On the bench. And then I also have played. I think I put about equal time into both of those games.
Isn't it crazy how much time you can spend doing nothing in Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth?
So I have now put almost 14 hours into Digimon Cyber Sleuth, and a solid 6 of that has been doing absolutely nothing.
What chapter are you on?
7 or 8?
There are a lot of chapters in that
I
game.
understand. Yeah. I'm on like chapter 7 or 8 where the game is still throwing in training Digimon at you in random encounters. I have several ultimate levels at this point.
It will never stop throwing in training at you, and it's very funny. You'll just
But-
start getting the in trainings alongside the megas. You'll be like, why are you even here? What do you do? Besides to
like-
give me material.
Pretty much. Like, I'm to a point in the game where I am progressing too fast for the game to handle it.
Mhm.
Because I have so many good Digimon that I don't have room for them in my party. So I have to constantly be switching things out all the time, or de-evolving things right as I evolve them. And it's a lot, but I'm loving every second of it. Also, Edamon was there. Edamon had there is a scene where Edamon shows up, and it is the biggest "Dear God, he's already dead. Please stop" that I've ever seen in my life.
It's true.
Because there's a point where a woman is talking about Edamon's music, and she goes, "Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. Just makes me want to claw my ears out and sew my face to the carpet and never listen to music again." And I went, "Dear God, like, woman, he just likes music. That's all."
I told Michael that I told Michael that he needs to wait till he gets to meet Edamon in the show, at which point he will agree on that opinion.
I'm almost there. I know that. I know he's close. But that's about all I've really done. I've just been playing those 2 games, and that's about it. I also went to a 4th of July party on 4th of July,
Hey Mason,
hung out with friends.
you played something else last night.
Oh yeah, I played a little bit of forgot we did that. I got swooped by Outer Wilds, and so I switched games for them, and started playing Danganronpa, Another Story, Ultra Despair Girls for a bit. That game's wacky. That's all I can really say. That game's wacky.
Mason, we sure are about to hit the point in that game where we're gonna see if it pushes some boundaries too far.
To a point where you want
sure-
to not finish the game. That is the question.
And if you do,
I'm
and
sure
if you
I'm
do
gonna-
choose to, I will simply summarize things for you.
I will simply sit there and nod my head in understanding.
Fair.
I won't, because I won't understand it.
It's a real shame too, because some of the worst things that come out of UGG also, like, in my opinion, are give to some of, like, the Danganronpa has this thing where anytime you learn something about a character, you go, "Oh my god, that's fucking horrible, Kodaka, why would you write that?" You then also go, "Wow, what a great character and like really like well constructive and like emotionally impactful character arc and like backstory they have." Incest.
Me looking at that bit that we got last night where the teacher,
God.
or also that bit in DR2 with Akane,
Yes.
where you're just like, oh, fuck, okay, that kind of came out of left field. Wow, I very much view you in a different light now. Okay.
There's an element of
Almost every character's backstory, and with every DR character's backstory is some amount of trigger warning / content warning required.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danganronpa's one of those fun things where it makes you go, yeah, these characters are all super good at something. What do you mean they excel in very particular things, and thus are really bad at recognizing other things that might be apparent to other people?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited for Mason to keep playing games.
I have Big Short of what I've done.
Yeah, John, what have you done?
So on July 1st, we all celebrated Bobby Bonilla Day, right? So you guys don't follow sports, so let's say this. So Bobby Bonilla Day is a day every July 1st. The New York Mets pay Bobby Bonilla a $1,193,000 salary. That'll happen every day, started back in 2011 through 2035. As a buyout from his contract he signed back when he was with the Mets, which is a terrible contract. So they agreed that when he retired, they'd pay him the rest of his contract in small increments over like 25 years, so they didn't get fucked over in the salary cap, basically. So every July 1st is Bobby Bonilla Day. We still have 12 more years of it for the Mets. Yeah, that's how bad it was.
Can you just imagine, by the way, just like every year on a single day getting over $1
Ka-ching.
million?
Yeah,
Just like
59-year-old Bobby Bonilla collected his check for $1 million this year, 7 days ago.
Yeah, I remembered I did
1.19
do a
million.
thing. Another thing.
My girlfriend went to Toronto to see twice. Came back with there's a little pop-up shop that had league stuff. It had a little gotcha figurine. It happened to be Ezreal, so I have that now. It's actually really nice.
Whoa.
He's got his
Oh,
little
it's really nice, yeah.
brush. It's really cool. Goes on my desk now. And the last thing, I'm gonna keep it short here because I have to actually get going because I have to wake up to go up north tomorrow. Today. So I'll be gone for about a week. Saturday. So yeah, I'm gonna go do that. You guys have a good rest of your night.
Have a good night, John.
Have a good one.
We are probably gonna call that because that's gonna mess up the stream layout. So we
I
will.
obtained friend-shaped beings.
Oh, very good.
I went down the Jersey Shore. Yeah, so and one of like the new like things that's in like all the Crane games is seagulls holding food. So this is a small little man's. He's holding a thing of French fries, and this is a slightly bigger man's with a French fry in his mouth.
Let's go.
He comes with a stick and a harness you can attach to him that makes it look like you're walking him, and it's very silly.
That is very silly, guys.
It is this thing.
We're gonna talk to you sometime later. You'll see us somewhere. We're surely going to post something, maybe, probably. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we will talk to you all